Did you go to anyone in the family or anyone in your friend circle and say,
Help.
help? Right.
Yeah. You know, it's one of those things where you silently implode a little bit as a mom because you feel I felt helpless. I didn't know the language. I didn't know what to do. I thought that Penelope was not going to make it.
In what way?
Well, you see I mean, people who are different, there's a hostile environment around differences in this country and in this world. And I knew that America's been divided on race and love and class. So I thought America's going to be divided on my boy, Black trans boy. So I wasn't sure if we were going to make it, if Penel was going to make it. And that was a moment where I just got real quiet. I didn't say, can someone help me figure this out? I said, what do I need to do?
Because our instinct as parents and people who have children in our lives that we love is to protect them. We know the high rate of violence against trans, especially of color.
Yeah.
And I always wonder, you know, would I try to convince my child otherwise?
You do.
Because you don't want them to be bullied or hurt.
You feel it, right?
Oh, yeah.
I said, you know, and my family's Southern, so my mama said, just put a dress on her. Just dig deep into your values. This girl is gonna love to be a girl, because all of us in my family, we are women who love being women. And I come from a long line of strong women. And Penelope is just different. Penelope is not a confused girl. Penelope is a trans boy. And I wanted to, when I realized it, I'll say this, Tamron, when I realized it, I never wanted to go back to trying to make Penelope wear the clothing he hated.
Did you try to force?
Sure. I put the dress on for 2 years. I used the pink toothbrushes with princesses for years. I danced around and told Penelope what a bold girl she was for years, for the first 2 years. And that made Penelope really sad, really sad. I forced beautiful girl, and that was rejected by Penelope.
How did you educate yourself on this journey then? I mean, there's no blueprint. There are, you know, you have stories here and there, and I've gone online and looked up the support groups that exist now, but we're talking 10 years ago for you. How did you educate yourself, being from the South, you know, being one of the first parents, really kind of coming out in the forefront here?
Well, I took an approach that Malcolm Gladwell suggested, 10,000 hours. Just 10,000 hours on a subject and you will learn something. So I just started on the internet, like digging, researching, reading. There are books, there are peer groups, there are parent groups, there are camps. So I did the research. And in that process, I found organizations, the Human Rights Campaign, Gender and Family Project, at the Ackerman Institute. These are places where you can actually get proper information. But that took this work. I couldn't find that outside. I had to really just sit myself down and say, I invest in my kid 10,000 hours.
Your then husband, Penel's father, what role did he play in this?
I'll say with this, we have never lost love. So in all of this process, we have never lost love. It was hard for him. His family is African from Ghana. My family is Southern from the South, Black American. We have traditions, and then there are religions. And there's all this reason to say, no, my child is not this. Spend time with Penelope for 2 years. And he said, you know what, Penelope, you're my son. You tell me you're my son. And Penelope said, Dad, I'm your son. He said, got it. It took some time, but Penelope persevered. And as a dad, he was able to really support his kids, so much so that he became the math teacher at Penel School. Because he wanted to make sure that every space his Black trans son walked into was protected.
I know that there have been a lot more positive things that came your way as opposed to some of the negative that we anticipate. This is not a fairy tale ending.
No.
We're still having this conversation. What is your fear? What is...
It's so hard to go there because when I dwell in fear, it just comes up. When you say it's not a fairy tale ending. Well, this ending, Penelope's ending, is going to be, I promise you, triumphant. But what makes me cry is when I have conversations with moms who this community hasn't reached yet, and they got there too late. My friend Kamika Shelby lost her son to LGBT bullying. And she said, why didn't I meet you earlier, Jodie? This conversation that we're having, this openness, this community, this support, this question, like, how can we be better? We don't understand, doesn't reach every family.
Yeah.
And that makes me cry.